Friends, before we dive into today's terrifying story, let me share something interesting with you. Almost 80% of the people who watch our videos enjoy them, but haven't subscribed yet. So, if you're one of those 80%, it'll just take a second. Hit that subscribe button below so you'll never miss our chilling tale. There are many haunted legends in the world, but none as strange and as terrifying as this one. A story about a train. Not just any train, a living, breathing, man-eating monster. They called it Choo Choo Charles. But what if I told you that behind the childish name lies the cursed brother of a familiar face? That's right, the twisted shadow of Thomas the Tank Engine himself. Our story begins on a remote, forgotten island, surrounded by mist, storms, and silence. Locals called it Aranac Island, the web of death. Beneath its rocky surface, hidden deep underground, were mountains of gold, diamonds, and precious metals. But no one dared to mine it. Why? Because they said the island was cursed. No birds sang here. No animals survived here. Only whispers and screams that echoed through the tunnels. But greed always finds a way. Years later, a company called Charles Mining Company arrived, greedy, fearless, and desperate for riches. They laid steel tracks across the island, dug deep into its veins, and ripped the earth apart with machines. But the deeper they dug, the louder the island screamed. It began small. Tools went missing. Engines stopped working for no reason. One worker swore he saw eyes glowing inside a dark tunnel. Another said he heard breathing behind the mine walls. And then one night, a train engine moved by itself. No driver, no sound, just the echo of wheels on steel. The next morning, 3 workers were missing. Only their helmets remained, crushed flat on the tracks. Then came the screams. Tunnels collapsed. Lights exploded. People vanished without a trace. And when the survivors finally ran to escape, they saw it. Half train, half spider. A monster forged from rust and rage. Its name was Choo Choo Charles. Steam hissed from its broken pipes like a serpent's breath. Its legs, black and sharp as blades, crawled across rock and track alike. And its face, its smiling, cracked, painted face, was the last thing anyone ever saw. The company tried to destroy it. They failed. Within weeks, Charles Mining Company was gone. The island was abandoned, but something stayed behind. 50 years later, a new visitor arrived. A man named Lauren, a monster hunter known for chasing the impossible. He had heard the legend, and now he had come to end it. He arrived with only one tool, an old yellow train engine named Evelyn, armed with a rusted gun mount. But the moment his wheels touched the island's tracks, he knew something was wrong. The fog never lifted. The air reeked of iron, and in the distance, he could hear it. Chew, chew, followed by the sound of metal claws scraping stone. Charles. As Lauren explored, he found strange things: an old cult village, statues built in the shape of a spider train, and journal pages written by the last miners. They spoke of the Spirit of Steel, a demonic entity that merged with the engine after an ancient ritual went wrong. Charles, the head engineer, had tried to control the spirit, but the spirit controlled him, twisting him into the monster that now ruled the island. The miners who survived formed a cult. They worshipped Choo Choo Charles, offering human sacrifices to keep him calm. But when no one was left to offer, Charles turned on his followers. Then, Lauren found something far worse. Deep in a cave covered in web-like metal, 3 glowing eggs, each one pulsing like a heartbeat. They weren't just eggs. They were offspring, new spider trains waiting to hatch. And once they did, the world would never be safe again. He devoured them all, every last one. Before Lauren could destroy them, the cave shook. Metal screamed. And from the darkness, Charles emerged. His whistle was no longer cheerful. It was a death cry. Lauren fired, again and again, but the bullets bounced off Charles's steel hide. The monster lunged forward, its claws piercing the ground like thunder. The chase began. Through tunnels, over bridges, across the burning fields. Charles hunted relentlessly, but Lauren wasn't giving up. He overloaded his engine, ignited the dynamite, and at the final second, jumped from the train. A blinding explosion tore through the valley. Flames engulfed Charles's body. The monster screamed, then fell silent. At least, that's what everyone thought. Days later, when rescue teams arrived, they found no remains. Only melted steel. And 3 glowing eggs, still unbroken. And if you ever visit Arenac Island and hear the distant whistle of a train in the fog, run. Because Choo Choo Charles is still out there, waiting for his next passenger. If you enjoyed this dark tale, remember, legends are born from truth. And sometimes, truth rides on steel wheels. Subscribe for more terrifying stories before the next train arrives.